Welcome back to CKP. So today we have a 1.2 TSI Volkswagen Polo. The first thing we're going to do is we have our VCDS connected, and the first thing we always do with everything is scan for fault codes. Okay, we have an ERAP, we can actually map that out, program that out, that's not an issue. We're actually going to check our trims. Okay, long-term trim is very healthy. It's actually better to look at the adaptations. Our measure blocks doesn't have measure blocks. So for logging a petrol engine, you always want engine speed, absolute load. Engine torque is ideal, not 100% needed, but it's nice to look at. All the retards for the... So there's all the bits of data that we need for a petrol car. This applies for a 1.2 TSI to a 4 litre turbo engine, 2.8, 4.8, 7, 8, 12, 15 litre, it doesn't matter. Ignition timing, pull, or ignition retard tells us how much it's pulling by. We want this ideally to be under 3. With the Ireland, unfortunately, this thing always does this. With the fuel in Ireland, which is 95 RON, poor fuel quality, knock is a big thing that limits the tunes here. So we're looking at high pressure fuel as well. So we're going to go for a log, and how the logs go is fourth gear, about 2k RPM, and we go foot flat to the floor all the way to red line, or wherever things start to really drastically slow down, which on a standard file is usually 6200, 65, 6800. So we're going to see where that kind of happens. We're going to look at the exhaust gas temperature, we're going to look at knock, we're going to look at how much boost it's running, and then we're going to use our application CKP mods to import the load cells, the corresponding boost, and then it's going to throw us out a graph and the required boost, create the load profile to achieve our desired boost. And that's exactly what we put in. And let's say we desire 1.1 bar boost, we get 194% load. Let's say you want 1900, 0.9 bar, and it creates the corresponding load. Using linear regression, there's quadratic regression, there's exponential regression, and there's different interpolations to accurate. These 1.2 TSI will usually run these at 1.1 bar, 1 bar boost. They run at 0.6 bar standard usually, and a very poor lambda of like 0.9, 0.89, not even 0.88. Actually, that's another thing. Just as I was talking, I realized. Alrighty, we performed a log of the car here. We just have some sections hidden. Our ignition advance throughout the entire run was 0, which is hard to believe. This is running at 1 bar boost. Our exhaust gas temperature gets up of 750 degrees, which is more than enough, more than okay. But the car feels chopped, like it's pulling itself back and forth. I have a feeling the knock sensors have been completely removed or programmed out, or at least basically the correction factor has been brought way up, so it's not detecting knock effectively, and it's running 1 bar boost. We can push a little bit more boost. The temperature is good. We didn't log lambda because it doesn't let us log lambda, but based off the temperature, everything, I'd say this basically. Sorry, in the last video I said ignition advance, I meant ignition retard. So it's 0 throughout the entire run at 1 bar boost, dropping to about 0.8, dropping to about 0.6, up at 6000 RPM, holding 0.6 bar, which is good. High pressure fuel pump is holding pressure completely fine, but the car feels hesitant, it doesn't feel quick. So we're going to do some more logs, not more logs. We're going to flash this back to a standard file, make sure the knock detection maps by flashing original file have not been tampered with, and we're doing on another run, and I guarantee you we're going to see some knock. Even on an original file you see knock sometimes. The fact that 0 remapped is hard to believe. Maybe they pulled way too much ignition timing out of it to hold boost, but it doesn't feel quick. So we're going to redo this map, and we're going to start from scratch. Okay, so we have our map imported into Stage X, and we're looking at our compressor efficiency map. This is just the beginning of the remap, and you're going to see how small of a turbo this is. So this is the compressor ratio. So 2 being 1 bar, that's 1.1 bar, 1.2 bar, 1.3 bar, 1.4 bar, 1.5 bar. So you can see on very low airflow, it actually holds a 50% efficiency at 1.5 bar. But as the revs, or as the flow kind of increases, it goes down to 20% efficiency. Now if we drop that down to 1.1 bar, it jumps to 33% efficiency. It's never going to be 100% efficient. Turbos will never be. You can ideally hope between 70 and 80% efficiency. 80% is really, really high efficiency. I think even on the newest generation guard turbos, you see like 75% efficiency. So alrighty, so we're going on to the engine torque request. We've covered all the limiters. We've touched up the basic boost calculations. Didn't touch too much. Just touched up the maximum boost or maximum desired boost, shaping it off the efficiency map, and also the turbo model based off the speed of the turbine. So now we're on to the torque request maps. Our last log was stage 1, 100%. Not a good stage 1, but we're going to improve that. But it's good because we see 180% load produces 1 bar boost. So we know we need to request more than 180% load. So straight away, if we go to our original data, so we have original selected here, we're capped at 175%, which equates to about 60% load or indicated load from the engine. So if we untick that, we've now rejigged this. So if we look at our 3D, you can see it's completely perfectly calibrated. And if we click Ori, you can see compared to original from file from Volkswagen and ours, it is still perfectly linearized, and it's basically fit for a calibrated tune. So 195% still won't put us. We want about 1.35 bar peak, and then dropping down, holding about 1 bar between 3 and 4,000 RPM, and then tapering down to 0.8, 0.6. So very, very punchy. Lots of low end torque, very punchy. Can make the car feel a million times faster. So we're gonna have to calibrate further. I'm gonna calibrate for about 220% load, and we're gonna use the maximum load maps to then also smoothen out that load on the engine, so it's not too jumpy. So we're getting to the remap. This is the last video of me showing what I'm doing, but when the map's done, we'll then do some logs and we'll see how it performs. Alrighty, we've got to the flashing stage. So the remap's done, or well, the file's done. We're now flashing to the car. When this is done, we're going to do another log, exact same parameters as we logged before, and we're going to see the before and after. I'll let you know about the drivability of myself as the driver, but numbers don't lie, so we're going to show the logs of after as well, and we're going to see the improvements from there. We're running a lambda of 0.84, 0.85, 0.86 as the load goes past 105 to 110%. Slowly easing in, and then as load is past 120%, it holds 0.84 lambda. Turn up the low pressure fuel pump. There's a tad bit, about 10 kilopascals. So everything is looking sweet as of now. So we're gonna flash the car and we're gonna see where we go from there. All right, I am blown away and very, very, very impressed with the outcome of our tune. Base tune, first V1 file we made. Let me show you. So this was our previous log. We had a peak at 3.3, right? We had about, call it 1.1 bar. And by the time we got to like 5.5, it's 0.7 bar. Okay, we're gonna go here, logging. Stage 1, 1440, 1446. Boom. So at 2.6, now we'll go back to saying, what was it, 3.3. We have 1.3 bar, zero ignition pull, 200% absolute load, and we jumped temperature a tad bit, 810 versus. So we increased boost by 400 millibars, and we jumped temperature by 30 degrees, exhaust gas temperature. Nothing. So there's that, and there's that. So we're holding, it actually hits 1.4 there, and I think our other baseline was, let's go 5.1. 5.1. We have 0.8 bar. I think that at 5.1. This has 0.8 bar. So we're holding the exact same boost up towards at 5,000 RPM, but it's the early on, which is what you want in a low leader. You want that torque, you want that pull, you want that tug. It now feels like a 1.6 TDI, not a 1.2 TSI. So much better, much more torque, low down, and there's still like no ignition retard. There's no ignition being pulled, so we're going to throw in some ignition advance. That will further improve things because this is not knocking at all. It's crazy.